Tara on TMA Flashback.
Good morning. Joining me now is Susan Jones. She's with the Ride for the Future tour. Hey, Susan.
Hey, this is Susan.
Hey, okay. So tell me about the Ride for the Future tour. It starts right here tomorrow at Brittlebank Park.
That's right. 9 a.m. we launch.
And what are you launching?
Well, we are taking electric vehicles across the United States from South Carolina to Google campus in California for 44 days and stopping over in all the cities along the way to visit with the people and let them see and touch and feel the vehicles and talk to them and just have a fun party every night.
And you are doing this why?
Well, because my personal goal is to stop gas emissions and make the earth cleaner. However we can do that, whether it's an electric vehicle or bicycle or whatever, I just think that we need to make, strong actions towards making the earth cleaner than it is right now.
These electric vehicles, how do you recharge them? How do they work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, not that much different from a battery in your laptop or your phone. In my scooters, you just lift open the seat, you remove the battery, and you just plug it into a regular outlet in your, in your living room or your bedroom, or if in Starbucks, you just take it out and plug it in the wall.
I don't know what you say to this. There have been a couple studies that have come out now that have said that actually electric cars they pollute as much as gasoline-powered vehicles when you consider, all the power sources that they consume from, plus what it takes to build them over the life of the vehicle. One of them came from the journal IEEE Spectrum. What do you say to that?
Well, I have something to say to that, but I also have someone on the tour with me, Stuart. He makes presentations around the world to world leaders and spiritual leaders on climate change and ecological problems. And I could answer that, but if you would like, he could answer that even better than I could.
I'm all for electric vehicles or anything that'll bring down fuel costs and keep the world cleaner, as long as it makes sense. But this just came out today that the price of electricity has hit an all-time high at 13.1 cents per kilowatt hour. It's the highest price on record, even adjusted for inflation. And, Obama last week just declared war on coal, the coal industry, and that produces 45% of our electricity. So, electric prices are only going to skyrocket now that we're going to go after, existing coal plants. Should people get used to or make a commitment to spending more money to operate an electric vehicle in the future?
I think you're, this is Stuart, Scott. I think you're maybe framing it incorrectly. The problem right now is that we are subsidizing a lot of fossil fuels, and we're not going for the cleaner technologies, the renewables, as much as we should. And what Obama was suggesting last week is that we level the playing field and go for reduce the cost of electricity by using more renewables. And in fact, I was in Washington at the time that he made that announcement, lobbying Congress to do something that's said to be one of the solutions to climate change that's very important, which is putting a price on carbon. And ExxonMobil, I learned, is actually in favor of putting a price on carbon. So the companies, the big companies, see this coming and want to know what's in store rather than just have a murky future that they don't know how to anticipate.
Well, even Obama's been quoted as saying that the price of electricity would necessarily skyrocket. He was point blank about that, and we're seeing that right now with the all-time record high for electricity. You can tell American people who haven't seen an increase in real wages in 5 years they should pay more, because that's what the president point blank said.
Well, what we're recommending, I was part of the Citizens Climate Lobby, and what we're recommending is that the way you put the price on fossil fuels, you return all of that money. It's revenue neutral. You return all of that money to the American people in a way that will offset the costs. But currently we don't deal with a level playing field between the alternative sources of energy. We have oil depletion allowances that were put in place over the years. And if you think about it, even the costs of some of the wars that we've had recently are to protect our oil resources. If we had more renewables, we wouldn't be as hooked on that foreign oil. So when you read the details of what's being proposed, it's actually for the American people.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you guys keep saying, with the oil that we subsidize it. I mean, we just the tax breaks we give to oil are no different from the tax breaks we give to any other business. We allow them to write off the costs of doing business. We allow them to depreciate their assets. We allow them to do that kind of stuff.
Well,
we just shouldn't. We should single out the oil industry and not let them do it, but let other people do it. And I mean, at least the oil industry, we don't have to pay them money to go get their products. I mean, we have to subsidize wind and solar just to get it on the market. I mean, geez, that costs a lot of taxpayer money. I don't want to pay for that.
Well, let me cite a report that was turned out by the government called the Hirsch Report, HIRSCH. If anyone wants to look it up. By Robert Hirsch, Dr. Robert Hirsch, came out during George W. Bush's administration, talking about how we actually have a limited amount of oil left, and the peaking.
Are you joking? Are you really? You seriously are going to sit here right now and tell me that? Do you read American newspapers? Are you seriously going to tell me we have a limited amount of oil left?
It's a finite planet. We have a limited amount of oil. That's a
we have at least 100 years of fossil fuel in the ground in America right now, according to the federal government. This has been reported in the Wall Street Journal. This has been reported. I mean, this is not disputable facts. You seriously think we're going to run out of oil?
You don't have to run out of oil for there to be a problem. You just have to hit the halfway point, at which point...
No, see, we're not going down, sir. With all due respect, we're going up. I mean, have you read anything about our exports dramatically increased, imports dramatically decreased? You missed all of that? It's been in the news. Mainstream media. This is not crazy stuff.
I've been riding electric vehicles for over 2 years now, and I think it's insane that people have to put all that money in their gas tank. I mean, every week of my life, I ride, and I'm riding for free practically.
I agree with you. Let's drill. We could crash this thing through the floor, the prices.
And also, when you're riding
we got more oil in this country than the top oil-producing countries in the world, the top 12 combined. We just got to go get it. You telling me we shouldn't pay more? I agree, honey. Let's go get it.
And all that smoke and pollution going into our atmosphere, it's disgusting. I think it's antiquated, the whole thing. I think it's total
I think progress. You two are antiquated. You're from back in 89 when the science was we don't have oil anymore. We got oil, we got natural gas.
There's clean and there's dirty. And the earth can either be clean or the earth can be dirty. And there's one that's right and one that's
But you're going to plug your electric car in. 45% of our electricity comes from coal. How does that make any sense?
We have the technology for my scooter company actually has the technology for solar power to charge up all the batteries. And it's just a matter of time. If people choose this, then they can choose the solar power, and they don't even need that.
I would love for people to be able to do that, but it's just not
today. It's available.
Affordable without massive government subsidy. But we got oil, we got natural gas, we got it all. I mean, look at this right now. I mean, you can tell me. I mean, I'm middle class, I'm broke. My real wage has been going down for 5 years, just like every other American. And we have just hit 13 cents per kilowatt hour, highest price ever for electricity. You're going to tell me I should go plug my car in when Obama is trying to kill the coal industry and skyrocket my energy prices?
What car do you drive, and how much does it cost you to fill up your gas tank? Is it 60, 70, 75, 80? How much does it cost?
Well, people listen to you people, guys. It's going to be 90, 100 before too long. They won't let us go get anything on federal lands.
Imagine if you had
the emotion of your argument does not make it correct.
Well, my facts really do. I mean, you're sitting here trying to tell me we're running out of oil.
We are.
We're running out. Seriously. You believe this?
I told you, read the
Have you gone to the beach? You got to help these poor people at the Wall Street Journal. But keep reporting. We got 100 years of this stuff. The London Telegraph. I'm looking at the article right now. Got 100 years of this stuff. More natural resources than anyone else on earth. And you're telling me
Wall Street Journal is
you believe this?
Murdoch, who's in whose best interest it is to politicize towards oil being not a problem. I mean, if you think that American journalism is information neutral, then that's.
The U.S. Geological Survey just reported. I mean, it is fact, sir. With all due respect, that we are now drilling so much oil that our exports have gone up for the first time. We're a net exporter of oil. It's increasing. How do you explain that? Are they lying too? The federal government's lying. Have
you read the Hirsch report? Have you ever heard of the Hirsch report? By the way.
Sir, I don't know. I just read mainstream newspapers and the geophysical reports. I mean, so you're telling me you're running out of oil, and I'm supposed to take it seriously. I mean, I have no problem with electric cars. We can find an affordable way to power them. But I just...
Well, let's switch slightly to what comes out the tailpipe when you burn all that oil, which you say we have 100 years worth. Have you read any of the information about climate change and the fact that climate change is pinned?
Have you been following what's going on in the UK? All the major papers there, the Telegraph, the Sun, all of us have debunked it. It's not real.
Oh,
climate's getting warmer, but the data is seriously screwed up.
No, the data is not seriously screwed up.
There's no proof that man-made climate change is occurring. This is widely reported in Europe. The U.S. won't report it here, but eventually they'll tell us the truth.
This is not.
But look, even if we disagree on that,
you're making this stuff up.
No, you're the one making. You're coming on my show trying to tell me we're running out of oil. Like you stopped reading newspapers in '89.
That you've got it all mixed up about climate change not being real.
Okay, well, we disagree on that. We're not going to agree on that.
99% of the scientists.
But even if we did agree on that, why would you want to switch to electricity to run cars when 45% of it right now comes from coal? Why would you want to do that? That doesn't even make any sense. And then we just
that my children are going to live in, because if you extend climate change out just a few years, you find that it becomes a very unlivable world. We're hitting records in most major countries, heat records every year. Each year gets warmer.
Yes, we've had heat records, but we've also had records for cold. And as you know, if you read newspapers, that they've also, and this has been widely reported in Europe, not so widely reported here,
for cold are
that the Earth 2%. Stopped warming a couple years ago. It did, and now they're trying to explain. New York Times, by the way, this is fascinating. This is a couple weeks ago, trying to explain why the Earth stopped warming. They're just trying to figure it out and make sense of it. Post and Courier, same thing, printed that, and they're saying they're trying to figure it out. They don't know. Maybe they'll figure it out. I don't mean to be rude to you guys. I just want to challenge what you're saying. What you're saying, because
you're into denying the fact that the planet's warming, and you're going to do whatever's necessary.
Yeah, it's a little scary that people are still promoting this. I mean, the Earth is really sick. You know, I was working as an acupuncturist every day for 15 years, and I left my thriving practice in New York City to get on this mission because I looked at the Earth and it's really sick. I mean, if you just spend a half an hour reading the statistics, and it's not okay. I mean, things are treacherous everywhere. The hurricanes and tornadoes and tsunamis, and it's really out of control.
Well, you know about the hurricanes, right? I mean, they prove those aren't getting worse either. We have better detection equipment. I just want to make you feel better so you can sleep at night. I mean, we have better detection equipment than we did.
Yeah.
And that's why we now have the ability to detect. We couldn't even 25 years ago.
Yeah.
We couldn't even distinguish from a Cat 3 and a Cat 4 in the air.
Tara,
as accurately as we can today. This idea that hurricanes are getting worse. No, the detection equipment's getting better.
I like a really good debate, Tara, but it's a little bit dangerous to...
No, it's just bothering you that you came from acupuncture. You don't have the background to debate me. I've got the facts, and I don't feel sad for the Earth because there's nothing to worry about. Now you're getting upset.
You've got a lot of dogma, and you're going to find the facts that line up behind your dogma.
Sir, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be on the side of the people who report documented news like that. The amount of oil is going up,
cherry-picked
not down.
News, and just calling it documented news does not make it accurate. There are a lot of people putting
tell me what's
that are not true.
Everyone can see that the patterns around them and the weather is very different from what they're used to, and there's so many disasters. And the city governments and state governments don't know what to do when all these disasters hit, and they're running out of money, and it's happening globally every day at such an accelerated rate. And their concern is, how do we put these places back together, like Haiti? Where are we going to get the money from?
And
we will always have hurricanes. The number of hurricanes is not increasing on average. It's not. I did a whole series on it. I did. I mean, you can count it. It's not been going up. It hasn't gone up. Again, our ability to detect them has.
With all due respect, you're delusional.
Okay. Well, I mean, coming from a person who says the amount of oil we have is decreasing and we're running out, I don't even know where to begin to debate you, because we're not even existing in reality together. We're not even existing in the world we live in together.
Tara, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've obviously done your research and this is your job, and I really want to hear what you have to say. Do you really think that things are okay? They're just status quo in the environment right now? You feel comfortable that we don't need to be concerned or make any changes for make the earth cleaner?
Well, it depends on what category you're talking about. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Are we talking about pollution out in the bay? Or are we talking about, I don't know, it depends on what you're talking about.
Well, like oil spills in the ocean and what they do to the fish and how that changes the whole world inside the ocean, and it makes everything dangerous for us to eat, and then the air that we're breathing and all these things. I mean, before the Industrial Revolution, we didn't have the capability of polluting the earth, and after that we made progress, but we just didn't.
The air is cleaner now than during the Industrial Revolution. We have the cleanest air that we have had. Our air is cleaner now than it was 50 years ago, with more cars on the road. The EPA, as you know, if you're very informed, has had to tighten the standards because nobody violates anymore. Our air is so incredibly clean. It's not getting worse. It's getting better.
Particulate pollutants, but it's the greenhouse gases. The carbon dioxide is above 400 parts per million, which is about a third higher than it's been for the last million years. If you don't find that alarming, then you obviously don't understand anything about atmospheric chemistry.
Yeah, because, God forbid if we planted more trees, then we'd all die.
Have you got kids?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Yes, and I pray every day on this show we go and drill for our natural resources so that they'll have a future, because if we don't drill in this country, we can't pay our bills. We have got insane amount of wealth in this country in the ground. You know that if you read mainstream newspapers.
On the show and ask them what they feel about climate change, or do you yell at them like you yell at your guests?
Oh, I'm not yelling at you. Come on, I'm worked up.
Well,
you can't. You know what? You can't compete with the facts. You can't, and so you're using emotion. How do you feel about your kids, and how do you do, and whatever you.
A lot of emotion.
You know what? I wish you luck with your tour. I hope someday that we can make electric vehicles affordable for regular working people and have them as an option. No problem with that. I hope they're never mandated, because that would be a scary thing.
WTMA.